Now, I'm certainly quite still young in terms of age, but I've had my fair share of experience in the farming industry. I've been around and doing farming on rather a serious scale for just a few years. 4 years to be certain currently. But my desire to become better and do it the best that I can has taught me a few things, and I've certainly learned as much as I could. And now I know that success while farming doesn't just come obviously. There are a few things that you need to do. And I can assure you with absolute certainty that after studying and sitting down and thinking, these 5 things, if done absolutely well, can change your odds completely in the farming business. And yeah, it doesn't actually even need to be business for you. Whether you want to do it as a hobby, food for your home, whether it's plants, agriculture in terms of animals, birds, insects like bees, it doesn't really matter. If you get a grasp of these 5 traits, trust me, they're going to raise your odds completely and ensure that you're heads and above your competition. So please stick around and listen. Now, these are not in any order, and number 5 is not less important than number 1. Number 1, work with anything that you have. Anything that you have around, whether it's financially or in terms of physical resources, can actually take you a very, very, very long way into what you're doing. I'll use myself as an example. When I started my poultry farm, I built a structure that could take up to 1,500 and 2,000 birds. That was the size of the structure. I was ambitious, but at that moment I only had the money that could probably get me 800 birds. So I decided to stock 800 birds, got them up, got into production. Next time I ramped up to 1,000 birds, and it was while I was working with 1,000 birds that the opportunity came for me that I actually graduated to such a huge farm. Currently on the farm we have at least 20,000 birds, way more than 20,000 birds on the farm. You can see that we have loads of cattle. You can see a cow over here, yeah? It's a heifer. No, it's not a heifer, it's actually a cow. And then we have loads of calves in the background. You can see them, yeah? But you don't just start out with all these big numbers, yeah? Anything you have can actually be used to absolute perfection if you put in lots and lots of effort and you work smartly. So of course, if you have little money, start with something that you can. The thing is that in this farming thing, time is of absolute importance, and time comes along with experience, and experience is an almost invaluable asset in this whole farming thing. Of course, I'm going to talk about that as a point later on in the future, but experience is so important. So you don't want to waste any time, trying to get things together, trying to get the best that you can. No, anything that you can in farming can actually be used to the very best ability. If you have very little land, you probably want to plant 10 acres of tomatoes and you don't have 10 acres of tomatoes. Come on, you have a quarter an acre. Do what you can with that quarter an acre. It can build you up to 10 acres, and you never know when your strike of luck could come. You see, that's the thing with luck, is that you need to prepare for luck. If luck comes and you're not ready, hey, it's all wasted. And they say lightning never strikes the same place twice. So do what you can, prepare the best that you can, and hope and pray for the best. Number 2, leadership is everything. Meanwhile, look at the calves. They're all looking at me. I don't know if you guys can see them in the background. They're like, who the hell is this? What is he trying to say? And why is he in our territory? Why is he over talking? Anyway, that's a story for another day. They have been drinking water. Meanwhile, I'm in the paddock where the calves live. So this paddock over here, you can see that in the background over there, that's their house, yeah? And these are the calves over here. This paddock over here is where they feed from. Just to make sure that they don't feed with their mothers, because we milk the mothers. Then in the evening, they come back inside the house, and then they will breastfeed from the mothers after we've got out some milk. And then after that, the parents will go down to feed from the rest of the farm. And then the calves will occupy this area. So this area is maybe 5 or a bit more acres, yeah, where they feed from. And there are just a few of them, maybe 25 or something like that. So it's sufficient space for them. But like I said, leadership is everything. You see, I'll tell you a story that we once had. Oh my God, this is making me really laugh. The calves have all stopped feeding, a lot of them, and they're just looking at me. They're like, what's happening? Why is this guy talking inside here? It's not a usual occurrence that I'm inside here. But we had an experience where we had, gardens on the farm. And these gardens, we had someone in charge of the workers who are doing the gardens. He would move around and then supervise the people, tell them where to plant, tell them what to plant. And they were working and they were moving at a pace that we didn't really love. It was planting the tomatoes, the watermelon, the cabbage, the kale, all the crops that we have, the maize. And I remember the very first season, we missed out on it. We barely planted anything. Most of the farm was not planted, and the results were really, really, really poor. We probably thought, our methods are bad. We were blaming the workers themselves until we decided to hire someone else to take up that job and actually be in charge of the garden workers. And as soon as he came on, the output in terms of what was being done more than quadrupled. Like, honestly, if we had 20%, we got to 80%. In just one season. And then all of a sudden I was like, what? It's just the leadership. It's not like the workers had a problem, no. The workers just need someone to lead them properly, someone to direct them, someone to show them what to do. So in this farming thing, just like in everything in life, leadership is everything. Leadership is key. If you have the proper leadership, you have the proper people directing the people on what to do, you can achieve anything and everything. And of course, on your farm, you might be the only person, you might be the only leader there. Well, you need to invest in your leadership skills. You need to study what a proper leader needs to do. Some of these things are inborn, some of the characteristics of a proper leader. But a lot of it can actually be learned and you can practice it on your farm. And of course, as your farm grows and expands, you're going to need to hire more people who will direct you on how to lead the farm. So it is very, very important that you have the correct leaders on your farm, and you yourself, it's important that you're a very, very good leader because it could mean everything for you. Number 3, question everything. You need to learn to say why and why not. Honestly, you guys can see the chicken structure that we have in the background. That is our double-storied chicken structure, and it has taught me a lot. Honestly, it has taught me a lot. Number 1, when I started my poultry farm, I built 2 levels of it. Now, it's not like I had never seen it. I actually got the idea from somewhere else. But when I told people that I'm going to build a double-storied structure, they were telling me, hey, why do you want to build a double-storied structure? I was thinking, oh, it serves space. For me, that was the main reason. It serves space and it's a little bit cost-friendly, compared to building on completely flat land. So I was thinking, it's cost-friendly and it saves space. And then people were telling me, no. There is completely no way you need to build that. I'm like, why? They're like, well, have you ever seen anyone else build it? I'm like, well, I don't need to have seen anyone else build it. They're like, have you seen the serious farmers? They never build such houses. I'm like, well, what's the reason they don't build such houses? The idea is that it's not that I was being big-headed. I just wanted to get a reason why I couldn't build the structure that way. And the reasons were like, no one else does it. Okay, that's not a reason. Okay, then they start coming up with reasons of like, infection can easily spread from down to up or up to down. And I'm thinking, even if the structure is flat on the ground, infection can easily spread longitudinally. I think it's even easier to spread that way. And then they're like, well, if you have buds up, they could spread the infection downwards. And then I'm thinking, that's quite simple. You just bring in all the buds at a go. So you don't have younger buds down and older buds up or the other way around. You just make sure all the buds occupying the space at the same edge. So I was thinking, hey, why not go ahead and build the house? So if I hadn't questioned everything and I was just listening to everyone, I would certainly give in. Something when it came to this structure, now this structure, it was actually me trying to have a big head. Because you've seen the feeding system that we have inside this chicken house. It's from the top. The person walks in from the top. Me, I had always crammed it that when you're feeding the birds, you need to bring in bags or you use a completely automated system. And then one of my colleagues is like, hey, we can come up with such a system where you put a walkway, put pipes, someone walks in, pours the feed in. And I'll tell you the honest truth, I certainly wasn't for it because it just didn't make sense in my head. It didn't make sense in my head. And but the explanation was that it could be done. Anyway, in the end, when it was done and implemented, I was like, wow, this is so nice. It's actually quicker than feeding manually while walking around. It's probably 4 or 5 times quicker. And number 2, it's advantageous in that you never need to enter the house. And then it's cheaper than building an automated system right from the beginning because the automated system is very, very, very expensive. So yeah, learn to question everything. When you question everything, if you get reasons, proper reasons not to do what you've been told, then don't do it. But if there are no reasons, why not do it? If it can be explained, do it. Question everything. The thing with farming is that it's not written down in stone. It's not like, it's not like let's say medicine. If we tell you we give you epinephrine, it's going to increase your heart rate and you're probably going to get a heart attack. No, it's nothing like that. Here we have so many factors involved. You have the weather, you have the soils, you have the genes of the animals. You have too many things to play with that you can adapt and play around with anything. So, question everything. Number 4, learn from your mistake. Yes, you need to learn from your mistakes. Now, I assure you, if you're going to be farming, you're going to make lots and lots of mistakes. The likelihood that you're going to make no mistakes is almost 0. Honestly, the percentage is almost 0. So, you're going to make lots and lots of mistakes. But the most important thing is that you need to learn from those mistakes. When we did our farm over here, we had the lower section of the farm. And that section would get really waterlogged. But then we were thinking, well, maize can do there, you never know. The previous owner had told us that they had planted maize here. We had history of the farm, and maize had been planted on that section of the farm. So we planted maize there, but whoa, we lost everything. Like, literally everything was lost down there. And so we learned. So the coming few seasons, we're going to plant nothing, absolutely nothing down there, because just waste your money. We can't afford to keep losing money like that. So you need to learn from your mistakes. You're going to make lots of mistakes, but those mistakes shouldn't be a discouragement for you. No, they should be an encouragement, because when you make mistakes, then you know what not to do this next time. Just make sure that you don't do those same things the next time, and with each mistake that you make, you're going to get better. Trust me, you're going to get better. So learn from your mistakes. And the thing is that when you learn from your mistakes, you become an inspiration to lots and lots of people. That's the interesting thing. In my YouTube comments, I find lots of comments of, hey, doctor, you've inspired me. You've really inspired me. I like what you're doing. It's so inspirational. I'm like, whoa, you guys don't know the mistakes that I keep going through, It's inspirational, and honestly, it inspires me too. Really happy and excited about it, but besides the inspiration, there's lots of learning. So take them as lessons. And by the way, just in case you enjoy the videos and find them inspirational, wow, it would be very inspirational to me if you hit that subscribe button. Finally, and probably most importantly, never give up. Whoa, guys, the thing with farming is that because you have so many external factors, it can be very disappointing lots of times, because you can't control everything many times, Of course, there's a bit more control when it comes to animals compared to plants. Actually, I'm supposed to make a video about that, and I'll do so in the future. But even with animals, there's too many things that you can't control. And because of that, you can suffer terrible losses at times. Terrible losses. But you never give up. You know why? Because when you suffer terrible losses, the thing with it's just like everything else in business. When there's lots and lots of losses, a lot of people give up and pull out. And when you stick, that's your time to succeed. So when everyone else is falling, that's usually the best time for you to rise. That's usually the best time when you can make the most money. That's usually the best time when you can get the best results. So never, ever give up. Yeah? Like I said, learn from your mistakes. When you fall down, don't just fall down. Don't just find that one occasion when you've fallen down as a bad point in your life. No, consider it a learning point and try your very best to implement what you've learned in your next points of life or in your career. Trust me, it's going to make a very big difference, and when you do, trust me, you'll be very glad. Otherwise, thanks guys for watching. Like I've said, it would be very inspirational for me if you hit that subscribe button. Lots of love. Bye bye.